Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing Grayson's 9-month update. Grayson is officially 9 months old, and before I start this update, I do want to insert some pictures. So the first picture is me when I was 9 months pregnant with him. This is actually the last picture that was taken of me with my bump before I had him 2 days later. And then the other picture I'm inserting is a picture of him at 9 months old. So the 9 months in, 9 months out. I just cannot believe it's already been 9 months. I've technically had him here as long as I was pregnant with him, and it's just insane. I'm really excited to be doing this update, so let's get started. I'll start out with his measurements. So for weight, he actually weighs 23 pounds, 5.5 ounces. He's in the 94th percentile, if you can believe it, for weight of babies his age. And this is a very big accomplishment for many reasons, but if you're familiar with my channel, if you watched my videos from when Grayson was a newborn, you know that he struggled very bad with gaining weight. And so for him to be in the 94th percentile is insane. Literally, he was below the curve so far. He wasn't even on the curve when he was 2 months old. And now he's in the 94th percentile. So we are just so happy about that. And as far as height goes, he's 27 inches long. So he's a little bit on the shorter side, and he's in the 10th percentile for height. Once he grows a little bit, I do think that his chunkiness is gonna go away a little bit, but we're soaking up the time with all of his little chunky rolls now. He actually got his first tooth last month, and so he now has 2 teeth, and he's actually working on a third. At his 9-month checkup, his doctor was like, yeah, he has 2 on the bottom, and actually he is working on a third up top. So drooling like crazy, spitting up a little bit more than usual. He kind of went through a phase where he had stopped spitting up, and so that was really awesome. He's starting to spit up a little bit more again, and honestly it's mostly drool. So he's definitely in that teething process, but so far we haven't had any fevers since his most recent fever a month or 2 ago, thankfully, and I'm hoping that continues, because him getting fevers and teething is just no fun for him. It makes me feel so bad. He's doing really well with his doc band treatment, and actually it's funny that I am recording this the day after his doc band appointment, because ironically enough, at that appointment yesterday, it was supposed to be just like a routine appointment where they check the fit of his band, you know, shave down the foam on the inside wherever it needs to be shaved down, just make any adjustments that are necessary, and see how his head is doing and give us a progress update. And they did all of that, and then they realized something, and they kept taking more pictures of him, and then we had to take him into the room where they sit him on this little pedestal and get pictures from all angles so they can get, you know, pictures sent to the lab. And it was kind of strange because I was like, I don't remember them doing that at that last picture appointment 2 or 4 weeks ago. Something was weird. Something was off about it. And I just kind of was like, okay, what's going on? Also, that happened to be mine and Kevin's 3-year wedding anniversary. And so we had plans after that. But of course, your babies come first. And so we were like, okay, it's fine. We were a little bit late to pick up our food because we had ordered Olive Garden and nothing but cakes for pickup. So we were a little bit late getting the bundt cakes, but it's fine. But anyway, so they were like, do you mind if we take some more pictures of him? Do you mind if we take some digital pictures of him? Do you mind? And so we were like, yeah, no, not at all. Like, sure. And then at the end of the appointment, they mentioned to us that his helmet doesn't fit him anymore. So they actually sent it to like cranial support, the cranial technology support. That's why they said the images needed to download and send, which was also really strange. We were like, what's going on? This doesn't seem like a routine appointment. So sure enough, cranial support responded very quickly and said he needs a new band altogether. He needs to stop wearing that band and he needs to be fitted for a new band. So that was kind of shocking, honestly, because here I am being an optimist, thinking that we're gonna go in there and they're gonna be like, wow, oh my gosh, he's made so much progress, because we can tell he has, but I thought it was a lot more than they saw. So he was, you know, I just thought we were gonna go in there and be like, one more month of wearing it, or a couple more weeks of wearing it, and that did not happen. In fact, he's actually not wearing his band right now at all because he's waiting for his new band to come in. And that may delay treatment a little bit, but you know, we want to do whatever's best. And he grew so rapidly, you guys. I'll actually insert a picture here that we took of his head at the appointment. You can literally see his head like grew like this way. It's just insane. So I mean, he's definitely grown, and for a baby that was probably in the 50th 60th percentile when we started there, and now he's in the 94th percentile for weight, and he's growing for height, it's just, you know, a lot of growing. So they were like, this will be no charge to you. That was really nice to know going forward. You know, we're not going to be charged for this extra band. And yeah, in 7 days from now, so on July 29th, we will go back and he will be fitted for his new band and we will resume the process. But right now he is doc bandless, and it's so strange. But at the same time, everything's going really well with treatment, and I'll insert some photos here of progress updates as well. You can really see in this photo of his head, like over the top, just how much the helmet's already reshaping his skull. And in this photo from underneath his chin, you can really see too, like his head shape is already really changing. So that's very exciting. They did mention though that one of his ears, his right ear, is being a little bit stubborn. So they said he has plagiocephaly on the right side primarily, and that right ear is just not wanting to cooperate. So we're hoping that the helmet that fits him better will correct that. Grayson is also rolling all over the place. It happened like overnight. All of a sudden he just decided he wants to start rolling everywhere. That is funny because he went from literally wanting to just be stationary, not motivated by anything, to rolling everywhere. And that's something we have to watch, because if we're not careful, I'll lay him on his back and he's like choom choom choom, you know, he's gone. So gotta be careful about that. But he is not crawling yet, and that was a little bit concerning for his doctor. I mean, all babies are different, but he seems to have some trouble with keeping his head upright, and we do believe that's the torticollis, not the plagiocephaly. We are working with him on that, and he's getting better every day. When he's on his tummy, he is totally able to scoot around. He's just not sure how to crawl yet. You know, he doesn't have that motion yet where he goes up on all fours and on his knees. He has a very hard time with that. So that's just something Kevin and I are working on with him. And his doctor really wasn't that concerned, but she did say there is a chance that the fact that he's having to do this treatment for plagiocephaly could delay his crawling and everything a little bit as well. He does sit up so well now. He is fully sitting up on his own. He really rarely falls over. If he does, he thinks it's funny. We're working on that too. I am trying to teach myself that whenever he falls, as long as he's not seriously injured or anything, just laugh it off, and then he laughs, because I've noticed he stares at me and waits for my reaction. And if I freak out, he cries. But if I laugh, he laughs. So we're working on mom not freaking out and laughing it off. And so I've noticed that if I do that, he thinks it's funny. So that's what we've been doing. He does sleep through the night for the most part. When I say for the most part, I mean there are times where he doesn't wake up, but he just cries out and he just needs his pacifier put back in, or needs to be just like readjusted, because again, he is rolling all over the place. So he's all over that crib. There are times where we'll go in there and he's actually sleeping on his tummy. So that's something that scares me a little bit, but he is very good about turning his head and making sure he has enough air. Even still though, I do go in there a lot and check on him, especially during the day, you know, during his naps. Kevin and I will peek in and make sure he's okay. But yeah, he's definitely becoming a little bit more of a tummy sleeper, which I do think actually makes him sleep more soundly, if that makes sense. As far as naps go, he takes two 2-hour naps a day. So typically he'll take a 2-hour nap in the morning. Right now it's currently almost 10:30 and he has been napping since about 10, and he'll probably nap for about 2 hours and then he'll get up and he'll be up for 3 to 4 hours. Closer to 3 hours though. Just whenever he shows me he's tired, I just go with his cues that he's tired, and then when he's tired I'll put him back down. Usually it'll be about 2 p.m. and he'll go down from 2 to 4. So if he does sleep in, which he actually did this morning, he slept until 7. His naps are adjusted a little bit. So typically he wakes up at 6, and if he wakes up at 6, he'll go down at 9. He woke up at 7, so he went down closer to 10. So that just bumps everything back an hour. But say he has an appointment or something in the afternoon, like he has several appointments for his head and he had his pediatrician appointment. If that's the case, and I know it's gonna be close to a nap time, I will only have him take an hour nap in the morning. It sounds crazy to wake up a baby who's sleeping. I have him take an hour nap, and then that kind of helps with that schedule. Actually, what we do is, if that's the case, if he only gets like 1 hour nap there, here, 1 hour nap there, we will give him a third nap later in the afternoon, closer to evening, but nothing later than 5. He doesn't sleep later than 5 for the most part, because we don't want it to interfere with his 7:15 p.m. bedtime. He also went swimming for the first time this weekend, and he loved it. The pictures that I have, he's not swimming in the water because Kevin and I were trying to be very cautious and watch him, so we weren't really taking pictures or anything at that point. But he did go in the water, and then we put him in this raft that my parents bought for him, this cute little like narwhal raft or unicorn raft, and he loved it. So I'll insert a video here of him when he was in his raft. Look at Daddy. Oh, he feels like he's in the bathtub, I think. Oh yeah, he does this in the bath. Oh, excuse you. Are you having fun? Do you like the pool? He is very close to saying dada. I'm pretty sure he's already said it, but Kevin says it doesn't count. It's not official because he's like da 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 da. So if he's looking at Kevin and says dada, that's when we'll count it, but he's very close to saying dada. We did get him a walker. We got him the baby trend walker. It was the one with little dinosaurs. He hated it, you guys. He hated it. And the only thing I can really think, or the reason I can think for why he hated it, is because it was very hard to move around. So when he's in it, I don't know if maybe he was too heavy for it or what the deal was, but it was almost like it was dragging. Like it almost felt like a brake was on and he was trying to like pull it with the brake on. It was just not easy to move around in, and he would get annoyed with it. He honestly wouldn't even really walk around in it. He was just kind of like, oh, this is just another activity center for me to play in. And also it made awful noises. Like the sounds it played were just awful. And so we took the batteries out probably the second day of him being in it because it was bad. So that made him mad too, because it didn't play music and it was just not good for any of us. But mostly Grayson, he really didn't enjoy it. So I just went ahead and sold that on Facebook Marketplace because I was like, okay, well, if he doesn't like it and it's still in perfect condition, I am not gonna just have it sitting here. So just sold that. And I actually just sold his Bumbo too, because you guys, his legs are so chunky that they don't fit in the Bumbo. So that doesn't work for him. It didn't really work out for us. I was hopeful that it would, but it honestly didn't. And I'm gonna probably film a video in the future of baby products that I bought but won't be using next time, or baby products I regret buying, and that'll definitely be on that list because it didn't really serve us well. But in regards to the walker, we are probably gonna get him another walker. I know the Safety First walker is really good. My mother-in-law bought that for him and he loves using that there. So we'll probably just go ahead and buy that. Grayson is obsessed with teethers, but honestly, he's obsessed with anything he can put in his mouth. He is teething like crazy, and because of that, he'll try to eat my finger. He'll try to eat anything in his way. He just is obsessed with teethers, and I'm thankful for that because I do know that there's some babies who hate teethers. They're in pain and they're hurting so bad, but they just don't want to use a teether and don't like the teethers. And so thankfully, that's not the case with Grayson. He actually does love his teethers and he will chomp down on those for a while before getting bored with them. Grayson had his first 4th of July and it was really fun. It was just a very low-key day at home with Kevin, Grayson, and I, because Kevin did have his first day of his new job the next morning. That starts at 5 a.m. so we had to be up at 4 a.m. Monday morning, July 5th. Not a good time to, you know, go out and do stuff on the 4th of July then. So we didn't end up going anywhere. We stayed home and we had burgers. Kevin made really good burgers and we just had a really good time with our little immediate family, and it was really nice. Grayson is doing this thing where he'll so sweetly look up at me and he'll grab my cheeks and then I'll pinch them really hard, and it's so sweet until then he digs his nails into your face and you're like, ow. So very sweet and then sour, like a Sour Patch Kid kind of. But he is very sweet, and whenever he is sitting next to me on the couch, he loves to just put his hand on my arm or on my leg and rest it there like, hi mama, and it just melts my heart. He also has this sparkle in his eye, and I cannot put my finger on it, but like when he smiles, there's a sparkle in his eye. There's just like this light that glows. I just can't even explain it, but his little smile literally just makes my life so much better. Like that little smile is what gets me through my days when I'm having a bad day or I'm stressed or anything. That little smile will get me through. Grayson also went to IKEA for the first time last month, and he did so well. Kevin and I were both shocked because literally it was a 3-hour trip there, and he did not cry once all day long. I'm not even kidding you guys. He literally didn't cry once that whole trip. So we're very excited about that, and we're hoping that means he's a good traveler, and we are planning on going to the beach soon. My best friend is moving over there in a couple weeks, and so in a month or two we're gonna go visit and stay with them, and it'll be Grayson's first time at the beach, and it's really like 2.5, 3 hours away, so actually not too bad of a drive, and I think Grayson will be able to handle it based off how he handled the IKEA trip. But yeah, he did really well at IKEA, and it was really fun walking through there with him. That morning, I did give him a bottle and breakfast before we left, and then when we were on the road, he didn't eat again until we got to IKEA, and that's when I fed him again and changed his diaper. And then when we got out of IKEA, we went and stopped at In-N-Out because it was right nearby. So we went and got In-N-Out, and Kevin and I ate in the car, and then I jumped in the back seat and I gave Grayson, it wasn't time for another bottle, but I gave him some puffs and little veggie melts and water, so distilled water. And then from there, we didn't stop again until probably halfway home, and that wasn't really for Grayson. That was because we had to go to the bathroom and we wanted to get a coffee. So when we stopped, I just gave him one more bottle and changed his diaper. And yeah, he was good the entire time. He literally laid in the back seat in his car seat and would either nap or play with his toy quietly or look out the window. I mean, he was literally a dream baby to travel with. Moving on to size updates. Grayson is wearing size 4 diapers. He's in size 4s. I feel like I'm always in denial, and I'm like, we can push it a little bit longer. But when he starts to have blowouts or pee through his diapers, I'm like, okay, it is time to move up in size. So we've moved on to size 4 diapers, and we actually stopped buying Pampers. We started buying the Target brand diapers, and it's because Grayson's not very sensitive. We're very fortunate that he's not very sensitive when it comes to diaper brands and wipes or anything. So we decided, let's just give it a try. And we've actually been very pleased with those diapers. I just have to say, if your baby doesn't have sensitive skin and you do want to save some money, try out the Target brand diapers because we've been very pleasantly surprised. I would say the only downside to those diapers is they're a little less stretchy. So that's one downside. And the other downside that Kevin and I both found is with Pampers, they have blue tabs. So it's very obvious when you're quickly changing his diaper or changing your baby's diaper, what side is what. But with these, the tabs are white, so it's kind of hard at first to tell what the right side is. So it takes a minute to, you know, get used to that. But honestly, that's a small price to pay for paying such a small price. Do you see what I did there? So yeah, so we've actually been very pleased with them, and we will continue to buy them. As far as his clothing size goes, he fits into 12-month clothing, and I know he's super close to being into 18-month clothing soon. I know he is, because his 9-month clothing, like when he wears 9-month shorts, you guys, his thighs eat them. So it's very cute though. But yeah, 9-month clothing is starting to get very tight on him, and I really need to go through his dresser. I was so good when he was little about going through his dresser and like swapping out clothes that didn't fit, and then, you know, seeing what we had and just organizing, and I haven't done that in a while. So I need to do that because he is probably no longer going to be wearing 6-month clothing. Let's be honest, he's pretty much outgrown that. Actually, I wouldn't even say pretty much. He's entirely outgrown that 6-month clothing, but the 9-month can stay for a little while longer. I think the 9-month will get us through summer as far as shorts go, maybe just barely through summer. We might not fully make it, but 12-month clothing is the best bet for him right now. And then next I need to start buying 18-month clothing because he really does not have much 18-month at all. But I don't want to do that yet because if it's, you know, for a different season entirely, I don't want to buy clothes for a different season that won't even fit him then. Like if I buy 18-month winter clothes and he's in 24-month, you know, I don't want to buy too far in advance because it's really hard right now. He's growing very quickly, so it's very hard to say what size he'll be later in the year. And last but not least, food updates. So I have a lot of people that are curious about how much Grayson eats in a day as far as formula goes, and you know, how much he eats in a day as far as solids go. So I do want to include this in his updates just so you guys know. So he's 9 months old, and currently we feed him 20 to 25 ounces of formula a day. And I have to tell you, his doctor did think we were giving him way too much formula. And when I told her how many ounces he gets a day, she was like, oh my gosh, I was gonna say you needed to cut back on that, but you literally have. Like, you really don't need to cut back on that. So what I have been doing is giving him a little less food. I think I was giving him way too much food at a time. I was just trying to fill up his plate, and that's not necessary. So I've just been, you know, decreasing those portions a little bit, as well as now he only drinks 4 ounces at a time, as opposed to he used to be at 7 ounces at a time at the most. So he is drinking 4 ounces at a time, and he has 5 bottles a day. So every 3 hours or so, he'll have a bottle. That's currently what he's doing right now. He is having 20 to 25 ounces, and this is seriously different for every baby. Because he is getting food through baby-led weaning, he's getting food through his solids he's eating, we know he's getting fed. We know he's getting enough. And the formula is kind of turning into extra at this point. We're kind of in that transition. So that is the only reason that we felt comfortable decreasing how much formula he's getting with each bottle. If your baby is not getting as much from the solids that they're eating, don't worry about decreasing how much they're eating as far as breastfeeding or formula goes, because they still need that as their main source of nutrition. Because Grayson is eating a lot more, he's really starting to love all foods, which I know that can be uncommon. There's some babies that do not like food ever, and they just don't want anything to do with it. And Grayson used to be that baby. If that's the case, make sure you're still doing your best to give them that formula or that breast milk. That is their main source of nutrition, because they do need that. And we just started decreasing how much Grayson is drinking at a time. He was at 7 ounces. The way I noticed it was time for him to switch to 6 ounces was he was leaving an ounce in the bottle every single feeding left over. So I was like, okay, decrease to 6 ounces. Okay, shortly after that, same thing, ounce left in the bottle, decreased to 5 ounces. And now we are decreased to 4 ounces because we want him to have about 20 ounces a day since he is getting so much food. Grayson loves shredded chicken, and I do not make the chicken myself. It's too hot in our apartment to cook a chicken. Like, that sounds like a weird excuse, but seriously, if you were up here, you would know what I'm saying. If you hear my fan on right now, it's because if I didn't have my fan on, I would be dying. And just a little side note, when I was pregnant, for some reason, I thought there couldn't be any noise whatsoever when I was recording. So I would literally sweat when I was making these update videos. I would be sitting in the room during the summer, when I was pregnant during the summer, under a fan that was off. And I don't know why I did that to myself, because I was miserable, and I would just try to speed through those videos because I was like, I cannot be in here much longer. Like, it is too hot. So don't know why I did that, but here we are now. We learned our lesson. The fan is on. I hope it sounds okay. Yeah, just wanted to add that. But yeah, so he is eating shredded chicken. He loves it. I shred it up really finely if it doesn't come super shredded up already. It usually does, but you know, every now and then you get that package where they don't shred it as much as they normally do. So that chicken is seasoned with salt and pepper. That's the only seasoning they use on it. He is able to have salt and pepper, you know, seasoned foods. So that's what I give him, and he really does love it. He really is not a picky eater. For breakfast this morning, I gave him Greek yogurt, Brussels sprouts. I know, even his doctor was alarmed when she heard Brussels sprouts, because she's like, some babies refuse to eat that because of the texture and how it, you know, pulls apart. It's a little bit stringy. And I said, I take 1 Brussels sprout and I shred it up, and then I put it in his plate, or on his plate, and he's able to pick that up and eat it, and he does really well with it. Sometimes we'll combine it with the Greek yogurt, And then the other thing he eats, the source of protein he gets in the morning, is eggs. So I did scramble up an egg and give that to him. I don't season it yet. I probably will start to soon, but right now he just has the egg with no seasoning. So this morning he had half a tablespoon of Greek yogurt, a Brussels sprout shredded up, and a scrambled egg. He also loves puffs. He loves the banana flavor, the apple cinnamon flavor. We tried the fruit and veggie melts by Gerber. He wasn't a fan of those as much. He'll eat them. Definitely he'll eat them. He will probably eat anything we put in front of him, but you could tell he did not like them as much as the puffs. He also loves pesto pasta. He loves applesauce. He loves black beans. He loves bell pepper sliced up. He loves sweet potato. He is working on loving carrots. He started to like them a lot more the last time I gave them to him, so that's progress, because he used to hate them. And he really loves his oatmeal. But the other thing I noticed is I was giving him way too much oatmeal. I was filling that bowl up, you guys. So I think part of his very rapid weight gain is because I've been giving him a lot of solids. It doesn't sound like it's really coming from the formula, it's coming from the solids. So I'm trying to better manage the portions I give him. I'm trying not to go crazy, because I was just like, oh, give him as much as I can, you know? And you don't necessarily want to do that. So I'm trying to work on that, because he is in the 94th percentile. He is not starving. I'm not going to starve him, but I am going to work on giving him a little bit smaller portions, because I think I overfeed. It's because he used to struggle with eating that I worry about him not getting enough. So I was like, okay, I just want to give him as much as I can. But again, that can also turn into feeding him too much. So we're just trying to find that balance. I honestly feel like something nobody told me about being a parent is how stressful pediatrician appointments are, because they fire like rapid fire questions at you, and you walk in and they're like, is he sitting? Is he crawling? Is he talking? Is he eating? How much is he eating? How many diapers? And you know, and like you're just sitting there and it's just like boom, 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 you know, questions fired at you, almost like it's a test. And you are being judged. So it's so stressful. And Kevin was talking about that too. He's like, yeah, they're like very fast too. When they ask you those questions, they're like, how much, how much, how much? And you're like, you know, it's very stressful. So I feel like nobody told me how stressful those appointments are. And also I feel like nobody warned me how hard it is to feed your baby. Like, for example, we didn't realize he wasn't getting enough and that he was starving when he was a newborn. And now here we are feeding him too much. So why is finding that balance, finding that middle ground so dang hard? I don't know. That is something I wish I would have known would be a struggle as a mom. Hopefully with our next baby, I will know better what to do, or how to know if they're getting enough or not enough, they're getting too much. You know, hopefully I'll know that better. But yeah, that's like a really big challenge, is knowing how much is too much or how much is not enough. Well, that is it for Grayson's 9-month update. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video, and I do have a playlist on my channel with all of Grayson's previous updates, so you can go ahead and watch that if you're interested. And if you did enjoy today's video, it would mean so much to me if you left a like and a comment down below. And to see more videos like this one related to motherhood, be sure to subscribe. Even if the sky is falling down.